Welcome back to Modern Mondays here at Guardian Games in Portland, Oregon. We're Portland Paper. I am Travis Cooper. I'm hanging out with my friend and
Ian.
producer.
Oh, I did it wrong. It's
Uh,
Ian. Timing. Timing is everything.
it's true, not a drummer. And we're hanging out around number 3 of 4 here at Guardian Games. Looks like we've got a matchup of Sean Nelson on a Mono Green Tron playing Trevor Fitzgerald on Titanshift. So, since I'm the one that announces the pairings in the matchup, this is your cue where I'm like, hey Ian, what do you feel about this matchup? Who's favored?
And
Any
then,
insights?
and then I just panic and look up at the names in the decks and try and make something up. But in this case, I know that Titanshift is good against Tron because somebody told me that once. And while I fix Trevor Fitzgerald's name, you can tell us why that is.
Yeah, maybe initially I think that's probably true. They're both trying to ramp up to big mana plays, and a lot of the cards that Titanshift plays um, are going to go over the top of Tron, where Tron's like Oblivion um, Stones and Karns aren't going to do a lot when Trevor's ramping. Sometimes if Tron's on the play and they're able to land a turn 3 Karn and can start stone raining, that's a way to win the game. But otherwise, I think Titanshift is probably pretty favored. Tron doesn't put up much of an early clock, and if they're not disruptive to Trevor's mana, Trevor can just play some prime times, play some scape shifts, win the game.
I think I'm gonna take them all.
Trevor must have had a very questionable hand as Titanshift is definitely a critical resources type of deck, similar to Storm where you need a certain number of cards to go off and mulliganing does punish that potentially.
And it looks like everyone's joining the Mulligan train.
Do you know? Yeah, it's called Portland Paper.
This, I think this benefits Tron. And by I think, I mean it definitely benefits Tron.
We are now experts on the Titanshift versus Tron matchup here.
Yeah, don't add us.
um, well, I guess we can take this time where the players are mulliganing to do a little bit of plugs. We have upgraded some equipment here. We're here every Monday, and we are going to be providing coverage of analog Magic the Gathering in the modern format, plus we do some stuff on other weeks. You can keep track of us on Twitter, on Twitch, etc. We appreciate all the follows we get. If you have Amazon Prime and you feel like throwing us a subscription, it helps us recoup some cost. We're doing this all out of our own pockets to bring people coverage of paper modern Magic because it's fun, and hopefully folks appreciate it.
Yeah, and by upgrade, Travis also means just basic maintenance.
Right, like everything is kind of broken that we're using.
Yeah, everything is broken in one way, but if you make it all work together in certain ways, then you can pretend like it's not broken in other ways.
But it looks like both players are on the mulligan to 5. Where I feel like Tron is one of the better decks in Modern. I would list probably Tron and Dredge as being the best decks with our current mulligan rules to go down to a 5 or even a 4 card hand and then just be able to ignore the fact that they're down cards in hands and just win the game. Titanshift, on the other hand, you need a certain amount of lands to play. So
yeah, 5 is a rough start as far as cards on Titanshift. Did Sean go down to 4?
yeah, we're at 4 versus 5 cards here.
Okay. Well, Tron is also fine on 4 cards. Oh, Vile Flickerwisp, thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Again, we really appreciate it. Makes a big difference. And yeah, thank you. And now your reward is you get to watch Tron with us mull to 4 and win.
Well, I do see some Tron lands and an expedition map, so
So you're saying we're there?
I'm saying there's a chance.
And a card.
And a card.
We got the payoff.
Oh, maybe it was a star, not a map.
Okay.
Or maybe we're slow rolling the map here.
I mean, I'm putting like 70-30 odds on Tron winning this game
Oh,
before really knowing anything here.
whoa.
There we go.
Okay.
It's happening.
I had the green. I had the land, so. Okay.
Well, we're getting Tron happening.
Yeah, he won't be able to play the Karn until turn 4. But I don't know if it's going to matter, as Trevor has not played any spells yet. And this Titanshift deck does need to play spells to get up to the requisite amount of mana. And we can't actually understate how important it is that Tron does not take damage from their lands. So oftentimes you can get away with the 7 mana, 7 landscape shift. But in this case, you need the 8 landscape shift.
Oh wow, we're gonna be chaining here, and I'd be surprised if Sean doesn't just start Karn Stone Raining and then getting another Karn here with this Sanctum.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Just Tron things.
Cast trigger. Yeah, sure.
Another Karn? Get another Karn. Do it, Sean. You know what? 2 Karns, that's 4 Stone Rains.
Yeah. Yes, it is 4 Stone Rains. And if you decide to take a turn off, and interesting. Okay. I also think that's a
fine.
very defensible decision. I think, you know, Stone Raining is great, but this Titanshift land deck is great at playing lands. So if you're backing that up with a clock, it makes a lot of sense to me.
We had a little bit of a flub here.
Oh.
We targeted a Foothills with the Karns minus?
So, yes. Yes. So,
Oops.
yeah, that's a whoopsie. And wow. And the texture of this game is changed for sure. I guess, you know, sometimes that's how you learn in Modern.
Yeah, that's 2 decisions I'm not quite a big fan of there.
Ooh, Ilharg the raised boar. Did I say that right? Let's take a look at Ilharg. Travis, that's Ilharg, the raised boar.
That's like, reminds me of like early 90s punk.
So,
we stirrings, we found a Karn, we're playing the Karn, we're getting the boar out.
I am trying to figure out why exactly we're playing Ilharg, the raised boar.
Because it's sweet?
Yes. There's a part of me that feels like Through the Breach is better.
Yep. Yeah, yep. But if you have Through the Breach and Raise Boar and Primetime in your hand.
The Valakut trigger off of the Tommy Tron?
Yeah, it definitely is sweeter.
So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have 6 mountains?
Yes, there's actually 7 mountains out there. 7 mountains and a Valakut. So Trevor used his trigger to shoot down the Karn, and I mean, Sean's going to play a Worm Coil Engine here, but unfortunately, Trevor will be able to use Valakut triggers.
I feel like this situation you might stirrings. Hope you find another card. Let's see, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could go up to 8 mana because there's an Expedition map in hand. Is that right?
Well, if Trevor can't just purely kill Sean with triggers on the attack, Sean would be able to at least have the Death Touch Worm token around, as Trevor is going to have to put all of his triggers on the stack at the same time. So even if he does...
Ooh.
Also, Karn into Mycosynth Lattice might do it, but
well, no, you still get an
Sean
attack.
have enough mana?
I feel like you have to do Karn into
Bridge?
Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah.
So maybe your shot here.
Yeah, Christacci, I always think the same thing when I see the boar, that it does remind me of that very wonderful movie. Travis, have you seen Princess Mononoke?
I have. In fact, it's screening, I think, at the, can't remember if it's Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke that's screening at the Academy.
Both fantastic. Sean drops an ensnaring bridge, just like you thought, and hits the Valakut with the Ghost Quarter. That's actually a really big game here from Sean.
Yeah,
Very heads up.
sometimes you make a mistake and then, like, instead of just feeling crushed and continuing to make mistakes, I mean, we all make mistakes in Magic, and what you need to do is, like, reevaluate the situation and be like, well, you know, could have done that better, but how do I win from here, or how do I give myself the best chance at winning?
And that'll probably do it.
I think it's 30.
I always make my opponent go through with this.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he should definitely make Trevor do it, because it does not take that much time. It does not take that much time, and it gives you
An
valuable
idea of how
information.
how many mountains are in the deck. I mean, usually if you're just on red-green Titanshift, there are going to be enough mountains. There's a lot of lands there. It's a good way to sometimes get to know how many Valakuts are in your opponent's deck. Is it 3?
Yep.
Is it 4?
Yep.
Etc. And people can always mess up.
Yep. Yeah, 100% worth your time to make your opponent go through that. And even more, not that I think Trevor didn't have it there, but he seemed a little reticent to actually to do it, and you know that would make me want to have them do it even more.
I did hear, I think it was 36 damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. There are some people that will, just pick up a deck and you're kind of new to it, so just allowing your opponent, or making your opponent actually show you how they win the game. Yeah.
I think that's good for both sides, honestly, too. It gives them practice in, this would happen a lot of times with KCI when it was around, where players were just desperately looking at you when they were playing KCI for one of the first times, just hoping that you would concede when they like thought that they had a loop but weren't really sure. And I think it behooves you to make your opponent go through to demonstrate what their deck does.
Yeah, I've definitely played against Titanshift decks where someone will like Skate Shift on, 6 lands and get 2 Valakuts.
Yeah.
Etc. All right, sideboards. For Tron, maybe we're going for some life gain. Maybe just some Thragtusk, some Thought-Knot Seers.
Yeah, TKS seems really, really good here. Difficult for Titanshift to deal with, and puts on a clock, which is fantastic. From the Titanshift side, I think we're definitely bringing in Damping Spheres.
Do you bring in Nature's Claim if you're Tron?
Good luck with your draws. Not going to 4. That was actually pretty decent for a mold. That was pretty
I
good.
kind of like that you can sometimes, if you're really being heads up, you can sometimes get your opponent when they are gonna like do exactly lethal, and then you can like Nature's Claim, your own sphere to cancel life, draw a card, or it gets you that damping sphere that Titanshift usually brings in. So
Yeah.
Good luck.
I don't know.
I
if you
could
should,
see
but
bringing in like 1 or 2, but I think it would really depend on what Sean wants to get rid of. I think, Tron does have a somewhat delicate balance of threats to ways to find lands, and you don't want to end up just slowing, especially with Sean being on the play here, you don't want to slow down your primary plan.
Does it seem
too
better
much.
than Relic? Which that's a card that does not
Yes.
seem very good in this
Yes.
matchup.
Yes, it does seem better than Relic. But I imagine Sean's bringing in other cards as well, so I don't know if the direct comparison to Relic, like, unless he has nothing else to bring in to take the Relics out for. I actually do not really know what Tron has been sideboarding lately, so let's take a look at.
Well, a lot of it is going to encompass the wish board for the new Karn. And then
Right.
you're going to have Nature's Claims.
Karn plus liquid metal coating seems real good.
Yeah. Turn a
Uh,
land into an artifact.
blow
plus
it up
Karn.
with
Yeah.
Karn. Yeah, I think you're right. So TKS and Thragtusk both in the board. I I'm very medium on Thragtusk, but a big fan of TKS here.
Yeah, I'll keep.
Oh, Sean going down to 5. That 4 was pretty sweet.
Ilharg?
Oh no, the mulligan to 4, the previous
Oh
game.
yeah.
I feel like the game would have been very different if we got to Stone Rain one of Trevor's lands there, but
Well, I just saw at least 2 different Tron lands in Sean's hand, and it may have been natural Tron. Don't quote me.
yeah.
Yep.
Mines and power plants sometimes get me.
Well, and then there are those Tron players that play the different art in different borders for all the different Tron lands, and it's like, woof, what is going on?
Yeah. He has a tower in hand. That's a mine and a power plant, right?
Yeah, there's a Karn hanging out there too. Do we get a damping sphere? Nope.
All right, so natural Tron Karn incoming.
I'm curious. So we got Karn. Are we going to plus or are we going to minus? I feel like minusing on land. I mean, your opponent's going to be able to ramp to 4 land next turn, maybe
Let's
5.
Definitely minus on land. I think we minus on land, and to be honest, I think you plus after this. So Sean being very careful to check the lands here to make sure that the mistake from last game will not be repeated. So fan of that. Trevor is doing a little bit of shortcutting here. He's sacking his Sakura Tribe Elder at end step, and then on upkeep, his Search for Tomorrow goes on the stack, and he will be searching for another land.
Yeah, so this would come off my upkeep, and I'm doing that for end step.
It doesn't really matter. The Tribe Scout or Tribe Elder land will come in tapped. The Search for Tomorrow land will come in untapped on upkeep. Ultimately, it results in all of his lands being untapped here.
It's a good way of verbalizing shortcuts to speed up shuffling in Modern, and I always appreciate people doing that. I feel like right now we're going to be in the Karn plus the minus game, but we're just going to bolt the Karn. Ooh, that's dangerous.
Is he maybe packing for a tracker here? Interesting. Packing for a Tribe Elder. That's very aggressive by Trevor. I know Trevor has a Scape Shift in hand, so maybe feeling like he's got one game plan, and that's to make it up to enough lands to Scape Shift and take Sean out of the game.
Well, Karn plus, so Trevor's probably not going to be able to win next turn, right?
No, absolutely not.
You got to pay for this pack.
Yes. Yeah,
so
not a
Karn
chance.
plus Mycosynth Lattice seems.
Is that does
Karn.
Sean have the 10 mana required for that?
No, but then you just play Mycosynth Lattice.
Oh, next turn. Good point.
So you could even get something else that you could play this turn if you wanted, but
you risk the Karn getting attacked with the Sakura if you get something else and then the Karn gets attacked, then you won't be able to get the Mycosynth Lattice and lock them out.
That's true.
I could see just playing the Karn and plussing on nothing here. Looks like also
Trevor is really incentivized to sack this Sakura Tribe. Yeah, so we get a Karn. Liquid metal coating could be sweet too. This is going to be interesting. I'm not sure what the right line is.
Ooh, I definitely liquid metal coating I think is 100% the right choice if he's playing it. It looks like a bottle gnomes.
Oh, well, it's going to block the Tribe Scout. And then you can still lattice next turn.
Let's take a look at bottle gnomes. So original printing for this card in Tempest.
Which is the one that Sean is playing.
Some really sick art on this card.
I love old Magic art.
Yeah, this is gorgeous art. And
okay,
a quote.
Trevor, are you going to pay for your pact?
And who's that quote by? How flavorful.
Okay,
Ah,
I'm going to
yes,
pause
let's
this.
let's get out there. Oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and make sure.
Your pact is on the stack.
I just like completely removed the counter, and then just like totally did not.
So Trevor pays for pact. We are at regular REL here. So we are.
I'm back, and even at non-regular REL, pact just goes in the stack whenever you realize that it's been missed.
Right. Does that extend to the next turn, or does it? Would it drop?
Sure.
In any case, Trevor is
So I can't
locked
tap
out
it,
of the
right?
game at this point.
We heard a sure.
So I'm wondering if. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Trevor takes the draw step. I think that lattice Karn combo is the sort of thing where maybe you start drawing cards at first and then you realize what it actually means, and then you realize that yes, it's time to concede.
Yeah, if you don't have a creature out,
Yes.
there's no getting around it.
True.
Unless you're playing Dredge. Well, that's some good mulligans for Tron there. If anyone's mulligans a lot when you play Magic, perhaps think about picking up Tron. Mulligans well.
Yeah, if you want to win and you want to mulligan a lot and you want a deck that's going to be really, really good when the London Mulligan roll comes out, pick up Tron. That can also play almost whatever. It has so many flex slots for good hate too. Being able to, you could easily play Tron with 4 relics main deck.
That happens a lot.
If it happens that, for example, this Hogak Vengevine deck is a big deal. That said, I know that deck is fairly resilient to one-shot graveyard hate. So I don't think just relicking it once would do enough. But
yeah, no. Tron's going to lose to that deck.
Fair enough. Tron is rather slow, even if it does have some interesting early game interaction points with something like Relic.
I feel like Tron can effectively win the game on turn 3 or 4, but realistically it doesn't like physically win the game by reducing your life total to 0 till much later.
I think of it kind of like Amulet Titan in that way, although I think Amulet Titan can oftentimes kill quite a bit faster. But usually with Amulet Titan, you're getting a prime time on the battlefield and then just figuring out how not to lose from there. And I think Tron plays out a little somewhat similar.
Yeah. Sean's mulliganed every single game this match, as well as Trevor.
So I do think that is a sign of a more experienced Tron player. I think you see people pick up this deck at first and they see a handful of lands and spells and they're inclined to keep. And I think we've seen this evolution from Sean as he's continued to improve on this deck, where he's kind of recognized that, the deck really can win with very few resources, and so you can be a little bit cavalier with how you mulligan on the mono green Tron deck.
I feel like especially matchup dependent, where like Sean needs to assemble Tron on turn 3, or have something like a backup plan of a Thought Knot Seer on turn 4, or Sean's not going to win the game.
Sure, and Trevor also mulling again. It's such a bad spot to be on the Titanshift deck.
I'm curious if Trevor is mulliganing because Trevor has unplayable hands, or for mulliganing for hate cards against Tron. Where I feel like both these decks are going to mulligan in very different ways, where Tron is going to do it to assemble your land combo, and Trevor might be doing it to disrupt that.
Yeah, I really think, especially if you're on the play with this Titanshift deck, you should almost never mulligan unless you have stone unplayable hands.
Because so much of your deck is kind of redundant pieces of being lands or ways to get land.
Right. And you can get to a point again where it's not the speed of your deck, it's just the pure lack of resources that can put you in a tough spot.
18.
Well, there's a Prismatic Omen, so that is a way to speed up this Titanshift deck. you can in fact cast Scape Shift when you have 6 lands out, so it gives you a 1-turn speed bump.
So, I kind of agree with that. I hear people talk about Omen speeding things up. However, you're playing this in lieu of a ramp spell. So, yes, you're speeding things up, but you could have one more land on the battlefield if you played something else.
I don't disagree with that, but it is also a way to not... It enables all of your fetch lands to be mountains later in the game when you're just playing a very, like, I'm going to play land drops and not cast spells so you can't interact with me game plan when you're playing against a deck that will counter your spells, etc. So, and fetch lands get
Trevor
2
just
triggers.
Far-seeked for a Windswept Heath, which I do not believe you can do.
All right, we're going to get a judge fix for that.
So we are going to just...
You can't Far-seek for Windswept Heath.
With Omen in play.
But it's in your deck.
It doesn't count as a mountain?
It's in your deck, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we
Can't
get
do that
the
with Omen.
fix there. Trevor, with a very common kind of thought that because Prismatic Omen makes lands every basic land type, that his Windswept Heath is essentially a mountain while in his deck. The thing is, Prismatic Omen actually only applies to lands in play. So got a quick fix there.
Sure. You're going to play the other one and then... Are you good? Play this.
So is that Wooded Foothills in play or in... That Wooded Foothills is in the graveyard, correct?
I'm unsure. I got up for that judge call. I did not realize. Don't know when Trevor played that. Are we on turn 3 right now?
I don't think Sean has missed a land drop,
Yeah.
so I believe so.
Okay, I'm gonna go check in with the players and make sure our game state is correct. Just making sure your game state is correct. Where's that Wooded Foothills?
What do you mean?
Is it in play?
Yeah.
Okay. You haven't missed a land drop.
Oh, he got an extra one. He got an extra one from Farseek. Okay, that's my fault. That's my fault. Trevor is up a land due to Farseek. Makes sense. So Trevor is in a good spot with that Prismatic Omen in that if he's able to play a Titan or something like that, he can essentially get Valakuts that trigger themselves and every other Valakut on the battlefield. So it has not strictly exponential, but certainly kind of a multiplicative element to it.
Oh, we have 10 mana here.
So this is Karn, Mycosynth Lattice, and that locks the game up. Trevor suggests maybe Bottle Gnomes, but unfortunately, that is yeah, Karn and a Lattice is rough here. So it's possible that since the printing of Karn, that maybe this match has changed.
Well, Trevor did mulligan pretty aggressively there, and when you're down resources with Titanshift, you end up like having to draw really well because you want your ramp spells in your hand, and you need to pay off spells, etc.
Sure. Well, we have 16 minutes. Shall we?
Yeah, I'll go see if we got another match that is in between games and return shortly.